Nia had lived in Damasi all her life, yet she always felt like an outsider. The villagers whispered about her misfortune, calling her cursed. While other women had families and warm homes, Nia had only a leaking hut and a stomach that knew more hunger than satisfaction. Each day was a struggle. She worked tirelessly, fetching water for the wealthier families, washing clothes by the river, and toiling in the fields for a few coins. Yet, no matter how hard she worked, prosperity never found her. At night, she would curl up on the cold floor of her hut, whispering prayers into the darkness. "Please, let tomorrow be different," she would murmur. But each morning, she awoke to the same bitter reality. One evening, as she sat outside her home, watching the other villagers enjoy their meals and laughter, she felt a deep sorrow settle in her chest. Why had fate been so cruel? Was she truly cursed? Little did she know, her life was about to change in ways she could never have imagined. The sun hung high in the sky, casting golden rays over the rippling river. Nia, exhausted from her daily chores, knelt by the water's edge, scrubbing her worn-out clothes. As she worked, she heard soft footsteps approaching. Her body tensed. Few people ever came near her, let alone sought her out. She turned and gasped. A woman stood before her, dressed in fine garments that shimmered like gold in the sunlight. Her skin was smooth, her hair long and sleek, and her smile sharp, almost unnatural. "Good day," the woman greeted, her voice as sweet as honey. Nia hesitated. "Good day, Ma," she replied softly. The woman stepped closer. "I am Senna," she said. "I have been watching you, Nia. I know your struggles." Nia's heart pounded. How did this stranger know her name? Senna continued, her gaze piercing. "I have a business proposal for you. A simple one that will change your life forever." Nia swallowed hard. "What kind of business?" Senna reached into her bag and pulled out a thick bundle of money. "You will collect used undergarments from the women in this village. As many as you can. For every batch you bring me, I will pay you handsomely." Nia's jaw dropped. "Undergarments?" she asked, confused. "Yes," Senna said firmly. "Do not ask questions. Just do as I say, and you will never know poverty again." She placed the money in Nia's trembling hands and turned to leave. "Remember," she called over her shoulder, "I will be waiting." Nia stood frozen by the river, staring at the money. It felt real, heavy. For the first time in her life, hope flickered in her heart. But was this truly a blessing or a curse in disguise? That night, Nia lay awake, clutching the money Senna had given her. It was more than she had ever held in her life. Yet, questions gnawed at her mind. Why did Senna want undergarments? What was she doing with them? Her stomach rumbled, interrupting her thoughts. Hunger had been her lifelong companion, but tonight she had the means to change that. By morning, she had made a decision. If this trade could bring her out of poverty, she would do it. Using the money from Senna, Nia bought bright-colored bowls, buckets, and other household items from the market. Then she went door to door, offering to exchange them for any unwanted clothing, including undergarments. The villagers, eager for the shiny new goods, gladly handed over their old garments. At first, they found the trade unusual, but the excitement of new possessions made them overlook their doubts. By nightfall, Nia had gathered more than she expected. She carefully sorted through the pile, setting the undergarments aside. The rest she burned in a hidden spot near the river, watching the flames turn them to ashes. When she met Senna again, the woman took the undergarments with a knowing smile and handed Nia another thick bundle of cash. "You have done well," she said. "Keep working, Nia. Your life is about to change." And it did. As the days passed, Nia's business flourished. Word spread beyond Damasi, reaching nearby villages. She traveled far, her bright buckets and bowls attracting eager customers. Wealth transformed her. She repaired her hut, replacing its broken roof with strong bamboo. Her old rags were replaced with fine clothes. She ate well, slept comfortably, and, for the first time, felt respected. The villagers, once doubtful, now admired her. She must have found a hidden blessing, they whispered. Perhaps the gods have finally smiled upon her. But not everyone was convinced. Baisa, Nia's sharp-eyed neighbor, grew suspicious. She had seen how, every night, Nia slipped away with a heavy sack and returned hours later. Where does she go? Baisa wondered. She decided to find out. One night, as the village lay in slumber, Baisa followed Nia through the darkness. She moved silently, staying hidden behind trees and huts. Nia's path led to the river, where a familiar figure sat on a large rock, Senna. Around her, candles flickered, casting eerie shadows. As Nia approached, she dropped her sack before Senna, who carefully selected the undergarments. Then she began to chant. The air grew thick, and the ground trembled. Baisa's heart pounded as she watched in horror. The garments vanished into thin air, leaving behind a faint, glowing mist. A chilling laughter echoed through the night. Baisa's breath hitched, her body frozen in fear. She turned and ran, barely making it home, her mind racing with what she had just witnessed. Nia was not just trading clothes, she was trading something much darker. At sunrise, Baisa rushed to the village elders. "There is evil among us," she cried. "Nia is stealing from us, not our clothes, but our very souls." The elders listened with furrowed brows, skeptical yet troubled by her words. Baisa described what she had seen, the chanting, the vanishing garments, the eerie mist. The chief elder nodded gravely. "If what you say is true, then we must act before it is too late." The village bell rang, summoning everyone to the square. When confronted, Nia fell to her knees, sobbing. "I had no choice," she wept. "Senna is no ordinary woman. She is a sorceress. She took our garments to steal your strength, your fortunes, to grow her own power." Gasps of horror spread through the crowd. The elders called for the chief priest, who prepared an ancient ritual to uncover the full truth. The reckoning had begun. Armed with torches and rage, the villagers stormed the riverbank. Beneath an old baobab tree, they unearthed a hidden lair filled with dark charms, bones, strange dolls, and garments marked with symbols. When they found Senna, she stood tall, her once beautiful face twisted with anger. "You fools," she hissed. "You cannot stop me." But the chief priest stepped forward, his voice booming with ancient chants. The ground beneath them trembled. The villagers watched in terror as Senna's golden skin darkened, her body convulsing. A piercing scream filled the night as she fell to her knees, her power unraveling. Then, with a final cry, she vanished into nothingness. The villagers stood in stunned silence. The sorceress was gone. With Senna destroyed, the village slowly began to heal, but not without consequences. Those who had given their undergarments to Nia fell ill, their energy drained. Some claimed to have lost their good fortune, their crops failing and their livestock dying. The elders held a cleansing ritual to restore balance. Offerings were made, prayers whispered, and the spirits appeased. But the damage had already been done. Nia, once the poorest woman in Damacy, had become its greatest sinner. Nia could no longer bear the looks of betrayal and fear in the villagers' eyes. She had not meant to harm them, only to escape her suffering. But in seeking her salvation, she had doomed them all. She withdrew from the village, isolating herself in her hut. The once admiring whispers had turned to curses. Children were told not to go near her. One evening she made her decision. She packed what little she had and left Damacy, disappearing into the wilderness. Her name would be remembered, but not with honor. Years passed, and Nia's story became legend. Parents warned their children, "Beware of easy riches, for they may come at a price greater than you can afford." Travelers passing through Damacy would hear whispers of the woman who had traded in shadows, a woman who had been cursed by her own greed. Some said she had been swallowed by the forest. Others claimed she wandered from village to village, searching for redemption. But none knew the truth. And perhaps that was for the best? Damasi thrived once more, but it never forgot. Baisa, for her bravery, was celebrated and later married the king's son, ensuring a future of prosperity. The chief priest reinforced sacred laws, warning against the temptations of dark magic. And as the sun set over the village, the elders would gather the young ones around the fire, telling them the tale of Nia, the tale of the woman who traded shadows. And with each retelling, they reminded the next generation of the lesson written in the ashes of the past. True wealth is earned, not bargained for, and some prices, once paid, can never be undone. Leave a comment sharing what you learned from this tale, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more captivating stories like this one. Thanks for watching.